I'm Chloe Humbert. At the public hearing on data centers in Archibald, Pennsylvania, PA Senator Rosemary Brown actually had the audacity and the dishonesty to try to say that ordinary people are responsible for the need for monstrosity data centers, when that is so wrong. It is so completely false. Now, first of all, this should remind people of the way that they tried to individualize environmental damage, as if you being forced into a system where you need to use plastic, you need to use fossil fuels, you need to drive a car to get to work, etc., and then saying it was your fault that there has been environmental abuse and climate change or whatever. And of course, that's a lie. As the big industries make money, they force you into decisions. You don't have a choice. They have so much power. And of course, it's the big industries that are responsible. So that alone is a lie. But it's even bigger lie when it comes to these monstrosity data centers. Because if you stop and think about what she's saying, you can immediately sense that there's a problem here, and you'll pick up on it. Just listen to what she says.
If you have a cell phone, if you back up on the cloud, if you have scanned a QR code, if you own a business, if you order from Amazon, if you shop online, if you have changed from paper to digital, if you Google search, if you use ChatGPT and other forms of artificial intelligence, otherwise we might reference as AI, you are contributing to the technology needs. I think we all are guilty in some of these uses, and there are many others, but these are just a few to think about.
So if it was really true that you just backing up your business's Quicken file, or you having a cloud service for your iPhone's photo roll, we already do that. We did that before huge monstrosity data centers, and certainly before this huge land grab has started happening. All of the world's banking data doesn't need these new huge monstrosity data centers. So right there, you're like, you know that there's something not honest about that. First of all, even if you did need, you don't need to consolidate that. They're consolidating so that they can make money. And who cares what happens to the environment, right? So right there, even if those big data centers were really needed, but the fact is that they're not really needed. And the reason we know this because the proliferation of data centers is based on AI hype and an AI real estate bubble. Not only that, but it's the tech tycoons that are driving this. They themselves are saying we need these monstrosity data centers, not for your Amazon cart, not for your business's Quicken file, not for your storefront thing with Shopify. No, you don't need it for your iPhone's photo roll. You don't need it, to back up your data from your Android phone. No, they're saying it straight out that they need it for AI. And very specifically, the type of AI they're doing with these large language models, which is not the only type of machine learning or artificial automation. It's not the only thing that exists even, but that's what they're trying to do. And once you realize that these monstrosity data centers are not required. But more specifically, they're not required for your photo roll. So just stop saying that, Rosemary Brown. So it's dishonest to try to say that it is for the photo roll or your business or whatever. And I'm going to quote from a Nature article from March 2025. The headline reads, "How much energy will AI really consume? The good, the bad, and the unknown. Researchers want firms to be more transparent about the electricity demands of artificial intelligence," by Sophie Chen. Quote, "Big tech firms are betting hard on generative AI, which requires much more energy to operate compared to older AI models that extract patterns from data but don't generate fresh text and images. That is driving companies to collectively spend hundreds of billions of dollars on new data centers and servers to expand their capacity," unquote. So right there, article. It's laying it out. It's not your photo roll. It's not your Shopify cart. It's not backing up your grandkids' photos to the cloud. No, that's not it. It's not even your banking information. It's not even your bank's vast information. Okay, so we'll go to Data Center Dynamics. This is a publication about data centers. Okay, and the headline reads, "Sam Altman muses that after 500 billion, Stargate, OpenAI may raise 5 trillion for a cluster. The unprofitable company has yet to raise Stargate funds, by Sebastian Moss. This is from February 2025. And they're unprofitable. Sam Altman, his OpenAI company, it's not profitable. And a cluster, it refers to the data center. And this is a quote from Sam Altman from the article. Quote, Stargate is a much bigger project. It is a 500 billion project to build a very large training and inference system. It sounds crazy big now. I bet it won't sound that big in a few years, he added. And if we do get to do it again, which I hope we do, you'll be like, you're raising 5 trillion for a cluster? What the F? And we'll be like, yeah, you gotta keep going, unquote. The article goes on to say, quote, Stargate is currently set to be built over 4 years, with the company exploring data center options in 16 states alongside its flagship Texas site. The company aims to develop 5 to 10 campuses, each able to support 1 gigawatt of capacity or more, unquote. So he's saying it straight out. It's not your photo roll. It's not your Shopify storefront. It's not your grandkids' pictures. It's not your banking data. It's this AI, these big, large language model, pie in the sky, AI hype, looking for God stuff. Like, that's not something I'm just coming up with, trying to create AGI or whatever. For their wacky techno rapture, it's almost like a quasi-religion they're trying to build. And Eric Schmidt, who is a tech tycoon, he said that it's AI that means that you need all these new data centers. Eric Schmidt said that in an interview himself, tech tycoon. In that interview, he said, quote, I talked to Sam Altman, is a close friend. He believes that it's going to take about 300 billion, maybe more. I pointed out to him that I did the calculation on the amount of energy required, and then in the spirit of full disclosure, went to the White House on Friday and told them that we need to become best friends with Canada because Canada has really nice people, helped invent AI, and lots of hydropower. Because we as a country do not have enough power to do this. The alternative is to have the Arabs fund it, and I like the Arabs personally, spent lots of time there, right? But they're not going to adhere to our national security rules, whereas Canada and the US are part of a triumvirate where we all agree, unquote. And the guy interviewing him said, quote, so these 300 billion data centers, electricity starts becoming the scarce resource, unquote. So then we'll go to CFO Magazine. Headline, Elliott Management letter says AI is overhyped and NVIDIA is in bubble land. Trial Balance, the activist investor group, had its letter to investors leaked by the Financial Times, and it reveals the firm's stance on AI and the investments surrounding it, published August 5th, 2024. Quote, leaked details from Elliott Management letter to investors say AI is overhyped. Elliott Management, the notorious activist investor group that made headlines for infiltrating the board of Southwest Airlines despite the company's poison pill attempt to keep them out, and most recently, taking a stake in Starbucks, has unintentionally revealed its position on the AI-powered technology space, according to the Financial Times. In a letter seen by Financial Times but not published, only referenced, Elliott indicated to its investors a bearish stance on AI, avoiding the Magnificent Seven stocks and saying NVIDIA, the largest and most valuable chip manufacturer in the world, is in bubble land. The letter also states AI is overrated, a sentiment many CFOs have been keenly aware of and expressed skepticism about the sustainability of tech companies continuing to push for AI investment, unquote. And then we have Ed Zitron's newsletter from July 21st, 2025, from The Hater's Guide to the AI Bubble. Quote, the Magnificent Seven stocks, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Alphabet, Google, Apple, Meta, Tesla, and Amazon make up around 35% of the value of the U.S. stock market, and of that, NVIDIA's market value makes up about 19% of the Magnificent Seven. This dominance is also why ordinary people ought to be deeply concerned about the AI bubble. The Magnificent Seven is almost certainly a big part of their retirement plans, even if they're not directly invested, unquote. From Australia, Gartner predicts 30% of generative AI projects will be abandoned after proof of concept by end of 2025. The subheadline says, analysts explore the business value of generative AI at Gartner Data and Analytics Summit. That happened last July in Sydney. Quote, due to poor data quality, inadequate risk controls, escalating costs, or unclear business value, according to Gartner Incorporated, unquote. And that's what everybody is saying. Let me quote from July 2024 in The Bite. study finds consumers are actively turned off by products that use AI. Quote, researchers have found that including the words artificial intelligence in product marketing is a major turnoff for consumers, suggesting a growing backlash and disillusionment with the tech, and that startups trying to cram AI into a product are actually making a grave error, unquote. And I've said that. When I see artificial intelligence, I just assume it's crap, and I'm sick of having this forced upon me. Employees are sick of being forced to use it. It's like they're just trying to stick a square peg in a round hole. And I avoid smart home stuff and buy non-smart versions wherever possible, and I don't hook anything because it's a security risk. And I just saw on Pivot to AI that, well, I'll just read from that article from August 2025. The headline reads, hack a smartphone with a calendar invite, and Google Gemini. Quote, unfortunately, Google is heavily pushing actively idiotic homes, and they're full of security holes because Google forced in their chatbot, Gemini. There's a new paper called Invitation is All You Need. It was presented at Black Hat this week. The researchers found 14 different ways to prompt inject Gemini assistance controlling Google Home. You only need a Google Calendar invite. The article then also states the researchers told Google what they'd found in February, and Google has tried to patch around it. Google says it's put in mitigations. Google has not fixed the root cause because the root cause is prompt injection, and fixing that would mean not using Gemini, unquote. And here's another article that this is straight from Microsoft. Okay, it's from January 2025, written by Brad Smith, Vice Chair and President. The headline reads, The Golden Opportunity for American AI. And they try to say that AI is the next industrial revolution. Well, apparently it's the next bubble. It says, quote, at Microsoft, we see a three-part vision for America's technology success. This starts with advances and investments in world-leading American AI technology and infrastructure, unquote. They go on to say, quote, none of this progress would be possible without new partnerships founded on large-scale infrastructure investments that serve as the essential foundation of AI innovation and use. In fiscal year 2025, Microsoft is on track to invest approximately $80 billion to build out AI-enabled data centers to train AI models and deploy AI and cloud-based applications around the world, unquote. So they're saying it right there. There's no mystery here. They're saying these huge monstrosity data centers are specifically for this AI bubble that they're doing. It's not. It is not your normal internet use. It's not your smartphone use. It is not you backing up your photo roll. And so the tech tycoons themselves, okay, are saying we need these big data centers, like Elon Musk's Mecha Hitler bot. That's what the Memphis big campus belching out pollution into Memphis. That's why it's needed. That facility is not backing up your grandkids' photos. It's not backing up your photo roll. It is not hosting your bank data. It is not your Shopify storefront. It is for the Grok AI that people fool around with and that spouts out bonkers bullshit. So they're saying it. It's the AI that requires all of this power and these huge monstrosity data centers. It is not just your ordinary usage of the internet. And anyone trying to guilt or shame people that, okay, so you have to put up with your house value going to zero. You need to put up with your quality of life being ruined. You need to mar the landscape. You have to put up with being exploited, with having taxpayer money just flushed down the drain on this bubble. You have to put up with all of that because you have a smartphone. That's BS. That's BS. You didn't make this happen. We didn't make this happen. And we don't have to let this happen.